This episode of Co-op is brought to you by Squarespace, GoDaddy.com, and Gamefly.
Okay, so it's a BK-47. It's made out of like 7 pounds of bacon.
That is a lot.
You know, they cooked it on there with a blowtorch. It's beautiful.
Dude.
Look at that thing.
Oh, that's disgusting.
What? This looks delicious.
No,
I would
it doesn't.
shoot bacon into my mouth. That's so good.
Yeah, have fun with that.
Oh,
Check out the bacon explosion.
bacon explosion.
That's
What is
the
that?
shit right there? It's like cheese, more bacon.
Oh my gosh, Ryan, you have to see this. Come here. This looks so awesome. Oh my gosh, look at that.
Yeah, look at that monster.
Oh my gosh, yes.
Oh my god!
Beautiful,
Dude,
beautiful
I am
thing.
so
Oh
hungry.
my
we
God.
gotta get some food.
we should
now.
eat one.
Let's go get some food before like you guys totally gross me out.
Oh no.
Yes, let's get food.
So starved after
Where
this.
should we go?
We need some bacon. How about we go to like Napper Tandy?
Kind of low on money though.
Yeah,
we
me
should
too.
maybe McDonald's get a Big Mac.
I kind of brought my own food today.
Really? What?
Yeah, no, I can't really afford.
Well, then you lose. You lose.
They have a dollar menu.
Nah.
Hey,
we live in the Mission District in San Francisco. Dude, we can get really great, really cheap food. Bacon, dude,
Really?
bacon wrapped hot dog.
Okay, that sounds
go.
good. That sounds good, huh?
Don't waste your money. It's
not a
Why are you
waste.
wasting your
It
money.
is delicious.
Bacon.
Come on.
It's bacon.
These are trying times.
Fresh Cesar, let's go.
Raw bacon.
Then the mission will still provide us a large number of treats. I feel really bad, guys. I feel bad for, you know, talking up the bacon wrapped hot dogs and not being able to deliver on that. But it's hard when the place where you want to go get your food doesn't have like a set location that you can go to on Google Maps. You know, that thing exists wherever it wants to be at any time. So, okay, so I feel bad, but we're still gonna get good food today, and it's gonna be cheap. I'm gonna take you guys to the taco window.
It's in the dark though. It's like it hurts my eyes a little bit. It's a bit too bright.
Straining a little.
Oh,
Okay.
too dark, dude. Split
Okay.
the
Yeah,
difference.
a little bit in the middle.
Halfway.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's great.
What's going on?
Okay.
Nice, nice.
We just
That looks
changing the
like
color.
awesome.
Yeah,
Squarespace. Remember, you can change the colors in real time.
Try green. I like green.
Okay, we'll do
Green's
green.
my favorite color.
That's super cool. Do blue.
Oh,
That's
All right, you guys can do
you
blue.
guys
Changing the color. That's
Nice.
awesome.
Sick.
Dude, I think orange would be really good.
Orange? Yeah.
Really?
Orange bar logo.
Like how about like an olive
That's a
or a
little
mauve
bright,
or
yeah.
something?
Yeah, they move up to like a yellow.
yeah.
Hold it. Go
Burnt
back.
sienna.
Go back.
Dude,
Go back.
it's like
No,
let's
go forward.
Go back to
Nice.
green.
Right there.
Go
What
back
if we
to
can make it
green.
do
like
this?
a
Oh,
disco.
like a brighter.
Yeah.
Look at the lights. Look at the color.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, I could see that. Definitely.
Oh, that's good. Squarespace. Squarespace. Squarespace to change your site in real time. Verified TV look kinda shitty to me until we put it on the Squarespace. Real time changing of your website. Squarespace does it in real time. If you want the website to look like a disco, hit this shit up, baby. You will see it in real time. Squarespace.
Beautiful.
Oh, that's awesome.
All right, that was good talk, guys. Not
Yeah.
too bad.
I kind of like that color.
Oh, right there. Perfect.
looks pretty good.
I like it.
All right. Let's do it.
What I want to know from you guys, since you guys didn't review it or anything, is like, what did you really expect from Chinatown Wars when it was first announced? Like, did you expect it to be some sort of like crappy offshoot or port?
I would have been happy with GTA 2 on DS. I think.
Yeah.
It was such that one was so good. That one and the London one, 1969.
Oh, yeah.
They were the sort of first 2D ones that went much broader. So the fact that they went further with it and they tidied up the graphics and made them kind of cel shaded look, I like that.
it reminded me as I was playing it, the whole cell-shaded design, even down to the soundtrack. There's a certain aesthetic that they really curbed from like American Skateland and Proving Ground. I couldn't help but to feel echoes of like that Tony Hawk style as I was playing Chinatown Wars.
Probably because it's been proven. I mean, you do that cartoony stuff on DS and it works so much better on the platform. Like, there's no way you could even attempt to like do something like GTA 4 or even like the PSP ones, because it just wouldn't work.
I just love how detailed it is. You know, you have the people walking around the city and they say things as you go by. There's cars where at night you can see ground effects, you know, lighting from underneath them. There's tourists on the side of the street taking pictures of landmarks, you know. They really do all the kind of stuff that you expect a GTA game to have in order to give it city flavor, and it all works.
I wasn't wild about the fact that it kind of made a point of being 3D so much, particularly when you're in a car, because it didn't have that satisfying handbrake turn the cars around, because the camera would kind of lag behind stuff as you were spinning around, and it kind of took a little getting used to.
Did you mess around with any of the special options or anything there in the menus? Because there was one that
special options.
You could choose how far out in front of the car you wanted to move based off how fast you were going. If I extended that, and if I turned on the path on the upper screen, the GPS like on the road itself, that I could drive a lot more effectively. And I don't know, maybe it was just because I could see the turns coming sooner and I knew they were coming, that I could get my e-brake turns really easily, and the camera became much less annoying to me at that point. Since all the streets are straight in that game, they're able to have the car auto steer a little bit, so you're always going straight down the road. So if I could line myself up right in the middle of the road, you could just shoot in between traffic.
Yeah, that was a great feature.
The camera's still kind of like swingy.
Yeah, it's
true. But I do think that overhead works in combat. It makes it a little bit easier because you have a hiding spot. You can find them a little bit easier, and so.
Well, I found the auto targeting to work pretty well too.
Yeah.
How'd you guys feel about dealing real drugs? I thought it was pretty bold that they didn't try and dress it up at all. But the first time I saw it, I was sort of like, oh, okay, so this is what it is, huh?
Rockstar basically said, we're gonna give you a GTA and basically we're gonna mesh it with Dope Wars. They did a beautiful job kind of capturing like the ecology of it. So you knew that like, okay, there's a guy who's gonna give me a lot of cash if I can bring him some weed. So therefore I need to go buy some downers from this dude in this area. So then I can get him to this guy to like go buy some weed. It was like, you know, robbing Peter to pay Paul to like buy some dope from Mary. It was like perfect balance.
I actually really appreciated that method of making money, I guess just because after 2 or 3 really nice deals, I ended up with over $100,000 and I was just buying everything.
You're in the market for like an apartment. I mean, like it escalates that kind of the broader economy of GTA way quicker than any of the more recent. I mean, certainly more than San Andreas or in GTA 4. And I do like the mechanic of like the PDA thing, where you can subscribe to RSS feeds from drug dealers, you know? Like, what's the market rate on LSD right now? Okay. You know?
Yeah, it's like the Amazon Lightning deal.
Yeah.
I think they sort of overdid it with the touchscreen stuff a little bit. Like a lot of it really is like very no-brainer and very smart. Like when you get the one mission, you have to go up and get the sniper rifle. You have to put the sniper rifle together.
Right, that's true. I feel like they should have just had a prompt that was like, take your DS stylus out. When you're playing in bed, put it in your mouth. Yeah. So that way you do stuff, you take it out, hit something, put it back in, and keep playing.
There's the one mission early on where you have to, you know, there's the vans with the bombs in them with the cars, and you have to break into the car, and it'd be like, a sequence of action events, and it's get the stylus out, and you're like spinning it around to unscrew the 4 screws, and then you pull the wires and you do it, then you have to, and I ended up doing the same thing. I had the thing in my mouth and I was like,
great. Yeah, because of this game, I've really mastered holding it in 2 fingers while I'm still doing everything, so like I can switch back
because
and forth.
it wasn't, you're right, it does sort of imply that you could just reach over and use your thumb, but it's not precise enough. Like for the hot wire in the cars, I mean, particularly the older cars where the 4 screws and then just like twist the wires together. If you could have used your thumb, it would have made the whole process much quicker and it would have worked much better.
All these little mini games really added a lot to it for me.
Ooh, I'm tattooing. Yeah.
Well,
Some of them are really hard. I don't remember the names of any of the characters. I know there was Italian guy and a variety of Chinese guys. There was like dumb guy, arrogant guy, drugged out guy, Jamaican guy that sells weed. They progressively seem to be getting worse at characters in GTA. I mean, in Lost in the Dam, they weren't that relatable either, and in this they were just, you know, it was guys that were doling out jobs basically, and there wasn't really any connection to them, which probably works with it being a handheld game. A little bit.
And more with it not being voiced, I think. It's like the dialogue is what I call Cheeto dialogue. It's dangerously cheesy. It was sort of overly comedic, and it didn't really need to be.
Mechanically, they did like a really good job, and I think they were very mindful of it being a DS game. Yeah. It does make me hope that when we get the sort of the inevitable next PSP GTA, I hope they go for something more like this. The city stories were just straight lifts of a PS2, so much so they just ported them back. But they took what they learned from Vice City Stories, which is like, don't make these long convoluted paths. I mean, the most complex they get is the buy the weed from this guy, sell it to this dude so you can get the heroin from this guy so you can take it back. But a lot of the stuff that the guys are doling out to you are a lot like Vice City Stories, where it's like, go here, kill this guy. Okay, you're done. And so it lends itself very well to like, okay, I got 5 minutes while I'm on the bus, I'll do one mission.
Yeah, totally.
What are you getting, Boyo?
I get a fish, carnitas, ojo, lengua, cachete.
It's delicious and cheap.
Sesos. Stomach pork.
Made chicken.
That looks delicious.
$1.50 a piece.
$1, $1.50 for a taco. That is awesome.
Yes, please. You had chicken and marinated pork. You've got salsa, cilantro, a little bit of guacamole on there as well. I went really simple because they had the marinade on there. I just had the beans and I just added some onions on top. But
it's delicious.
That is a very easy $1.50 to stack.
It's like down the street from us.
Yeah, it's really good.
I think we'll be back.
What's up, dude? What are you playing?
Karma Star.
I've never seen
Harvey
this.
Smith's iPhone game. Yeah, it's really cool. It's like this little strategy game.
Yeah.
So like you have these 5 traits, and they really could be anything. They could just be A, B, C, D, E, F, you know. But the cool thing is that it's the metaphor that it's wrapped up in. So there's like 4 stages of life: childhood, early adulthood, middle age, and old age.
Okay.
And basically you're trying to up your stats, and then you use your stats to battle other Karma Stars. So it's so like I can use my brain power stat to battle this other guy's brain power stat.
Oh, because it's higher than his.
Right. You get 3 random options that pop up, like 3 cards that are dealt to you basically.
Okay.
And they can be attack cards or bonus cards.
Okay.
And so it seems pretty straightforward, but the cool thing is that there's all these little intricacies that you start figuring out after a while. There's all these little bonuses, like if you get over 30 points when you do an attack, you get a luck bonus. If you attack both players once during the game, you get another point bonus. And then there's these things, you get wild cards that give you little abilities, like steal a stat from another player. But if their stat is at 5, you can't steal that stat.
Okay. So you're kind of balancing your offense and defense, basically.
Yeah, and as far as the strategy game goes, it seems deceptively simple, but it's actually a lot deeper than I thought it was when I first started. And I kind of just, whenever I'm sitting down and I don't really have anything to do, I'm always finding myself going back to it. It's
How
a
long
really
does a
solid
match
little
typically
game.
last?
I think it can last like anywhere from like 5 to 10 minutes, depending on how quickly you're quicking around and making your decisions, you know?
That's just about perfect.
Him moving on to do a game like this, but it shows that he's an experienced game designer to create something this fun on such a simple
GoDaddy.com makes it easy to customize your own virtual dedicated server. Choose one of 3 popular plans or select your own Linux or Windows server with all the plan options you need. Plus, enter code CO4 when you check out and save an additional 15% on any order of $75 or more. Some restrictions apply. See site for details. Get your piece of the internet at GoDaddy.com.
Yeah? Good? All right.
Yeah, I guess I was wrong. It's not really a van anymore. It looks more like a taco truck now.
Well, it's
or
a car.
Tamale truck.
There's a car. You come by the street and you're like, what's this dumb blue tent?
Right.
It's the place where you get
outside
good
of the Boys
tamales.
and Girls Club. It's where you get tamales.
Yep. Chips are so good. Tamales, $175. This is the way to serve salsa. I would drink it.
I would watch you drink it.
And you would film him watching me drink it.
Yeah, that's
and
what
then
would
the
happen.
camera would film you filming. Oh,
Wait a minute.
Meta. What'd you get, Matt?
2 cheese tamales.
Nice.
And I'm gonna get some a mango on a stick.
Oh, hell yeah.
That's some mango with a little bit of everything.
It's salt, chili pepper, and lemon juice?
Yeah, lime juice, I think.
Lime juice, okay. First described it to me, what like I thought you were gonna get for like $2 was like that single mango,
Just the single
like this
mango.
guy right
No,
here.
they give you the full mango.
Yeah, if you're in a situation where you're broke or just not making a whole lot of money or starting a, like when you're starting a company, great example, it's a great neighborhood to live in because you can eat stuff like that for $1.75. You don't have to go to Taco Bell or some sort of crappy franchise restaurant.
Listen, do you smell something? It's ice cream. Look, in the mission they come in carts, and the carts have bells, and you can hear the bells from far away, so you know when ice cream is coming.
You got a SpongeBob French press? Yeah.
Dude, Phil, you gotta get one of these.
Yeah.
No, I want a SpongeBob.
I'll trim these two.
$2.75.
Fruity ice deliciousness. Every day in the mission there's a cart that comes by with its bells a
I think we passed like 5 of them.
And ice cream, $1.25.
You got yellow on my watermelon.
That's what you get for touching tips. Let's go.
Look at his face. He liked it.
Did you always follow that path? Yes.
What is this? Geometry Wars?
This is Geo Defense. I love tower defense games, and I really like playing them on the iPod. Field Runners was a really big favorite of mine. But the problem Field Runners had was they only had the two stages, and it was pretty much like a set formula. Well, what I like about this is all the levels are different. Depending on what stage you're playing, they add in all these variables. Sometimes you only have a certain amount of towers available to you. Other times you can only purchase one certain amount of times, or the creeps move faster, or they're stronger, or there's different levels of waves that you're gonna have to accomplish. So everyone has a sort of objective to it, so you kind of have to switch up your gameplay every time.
Do they have like money you get from completing levels, and then that's how you build more towers?
Exactly.
Or is it...
Right here in the beginning, it tells you how many waves, how many lives you have, how much cash you get to start with, and then for each creep that you destroy, you get a certain amount of money back. So then it's the same deal of placing the towers, upgrading the towers, finding the right combinations that work. So it's a lot of trial and error, which kind of sucks about it, but that kind of goes with tower defense games. A warning really for this is it's incredibly hard.
Really?
And when
off the bat?
Yeah, like when I read the description of it, they called it a thinking man's tower defense game. 3 or 4 missions into the easy stages, it gets incredibly difficult. Like I've been having to play a lot of them 20, 30 times. Oh. Yeah, like really
Holy
bad.
crap.
Damn! Yeah, that is a thinking.
I don't know if that one's for me, man. The first one that I saw, I read about it because Nick Sutner twittered about it. This is how I find all the games that I play, is that I look on Twitter and see what people are talking about. But this game's called Drop 7. Basically, when you put a numbered thing in a row or a column, if there's that many things in that row or column, then it deletes that number. So, so right now, like I've got a 6. You can see that there's 5 in this column. So if I drop that 6 there, it's gonna delete, and all the other 6s on there will delete as well.
Oh, whoa.
So using these gray circles, you gotta put a numbered one next to it and have it explode, and then it like blows it up a little bit halfway. Yeah. And then once you do it again, then it blows it up and it becomes a numbered one. So they just add an extra bit of complexity to the puzzling. I've only just begun playing it, and right now it's like, it's just the perfect amount of complexity for me. Okay, so this game is like the exact opposite, where time is totally of the essence. Yeah. And it's called Topple 2. It's by NG Moko. And you grab the blocks,
was totally playing this.
and you kind of like set them up, and the idea is to build a tower. It's kind of like Jenga or something.
Right. Yep.
But with really good art direction, where you build this tower and try to hope that it doesn't fall.
I like how they look worried too when they're dropping. They're like,
oh no,
I'm nervous.
And I really like the physics of the game, and I really like, you know, trying to balance these dumb objects on top of each other.
Now that I remember though, like this game gets really hard.
Oh yeah. It's kind of like World of Goo, where if you build fast, it sometimes helps you out, because it's not like it's on Earth physics or something.
Yeah,
Gravity's a little weird. Yeah. So you do have the ability to kind of like, pull this over here.
I like how the faces get like worried when it's gonna topple too.
Yeah. It's not something that I would play for 60 hours or anything, but for a cheap little iPhone game, I think the production value on it alone makes it worth checking out.
Yeah, totally. Dude, how much is the Topple?
I think a Topple is $1.99.
Okay, how about what was the other one you showed us?
Drop 7. It can't be any more than $2.99, so it's definitely less than that. Most of the games I buy end up being around $3 or less.
Yeah,
that's
I mean,
kind of the sweet spot.
$1.99 is like my sweet spot for games. If it's $1.99 and I remotely want to play it, I purchase it instantly.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't play any of them all that much, but I'm always really excited when I do get a new one. Have you guys played Elise or Ellis or whatever?
I've heard about that.
I actually have now.
Okay, because that game is ridiculous. I mean, I almost didn't even need to tell you what it is. Just get that game. It's like perfect game for the iPhone platform. Just really fun, great music, great sound, great art direction, and good multi-touch gameplay. And I think that's really cool. Yeah.
When they go to gamefly.com/co-op. Some restrictions apply. See site for details.
Butcher Bay. You know, you always take me to the nicest places, Giles.
I heard the food's good as well. Can't say I'm gonna miss you, Riddick.
Then don't.
My favorite thing about this game, well, there are lots of good things about it. It came out in 2004 in June, before Doom 3, before Half-Life 2. I mean,
it still looks great. It still is like I was playing, because I never played Butcher Bay, so this was my first experience. I'm playing this and forgetting most of the time that it's technically a last-gen game.
I played Butcher Bay. When did the PC version come out? That's what I played. It was like a year after the Xbox. So they added like little like throwaway 15-minute like dude in robot suit sequence to it. Pretty much the same game otherwise.
Right.
I really thought that especially Butcher Bay was really effective in the way that it kept changing up the gameplay, and every time it did, it was fun. Even when they took away my guns, I wasn't like, oh, they took away my guns. I was like, oh, sweet. Now they're gonna set me up with a bunch of stealth sequences so I can knife kill people.
But it's fun going through that cycle, you know. Like I appreciated it because it teaches you to really get familiar with the stealth combat, you know. And then once you become, powered up, to really be able to handle the guns well.
And I'm not a fan of stealth games at all, but somehow Butcher Bay managed to be one of those games that it made me appreciate the stealth sequences, even though I don't generally like stealth gameplay. They weren't too frustrating. They're kind of forgiving. It's easy to lose the guards if you get caught, and it's just easy to pull off really satisfying stealth kills.
I feel like the first time I was playing it, I stopped because I thought it was frustrating.
Okay.
And I was in the mine sequence. There were a bunch of parts where I was just like stuck behind a bunch of crates, hearing John DiMaggio Bender saying like, "Stick your head out, prisoner, and I'll shoot it off," and all this crap.
Hey, prisoner, show yourself.
But this time through, I was. The beginning half of Butcher Bay is not super open. It's pretty straightforward and linear. But once you get to that second sort of hub area in the second prison camp and then the mines surrounding it, the game really opens up and you get to approach it in whatever way seems best. I mean, the part that comes to mind again, talking about the mines, is when you go through this vent and you come down on the top of this elevator and the elevator starts moving down, and that's how you get into the mines. And you can see, because there's some holes in the ceiling, that there's two enemies that walk out, and ordinarily you would hop down and hopefully stealth kill one of them, kill the other guy, and then kind of make your way into the mines. But this time, I was looking around on the top of the elevator and I found a vent that I could open with the vent tool. I hopped in this vent system, and there was a whole series of rooms that I never even saw the first time I was playing the game, which are totally set up for cool stealth gameplay.
The secret was you went up the ventilation shaft?
I did go up the ventilation shaft. And then I'm not as far into Dark Athena yet, and thus far the game hasn't been open like that. It's more like the beginning of Butcher Bay, where it's very, very straightforward, very linear.
Unfortunately, I don't want to spoil it for you, but it doesn't really ever open up that way.
That's the whole game.
And it kind of gets worse as it goes. They kind of start throwing away the stealth elements a lot more in some of the areas, especially near the second half of it. I guess the way it feels to me, and I know I've talked to Starbreeze, I interviewed them a while back about the game, and I know that because of what happened with Vivendi getting bought,
right,
and then they were kind of left on their own until Atari picked them up. They had a bunch of free time, so I think originally this was only going to be a little maybe 3 or 4 hour addition to Butcher Bay, but they ended up having more time, so they kind of built on an extra part. And it seems like the second half of Dark Athena, they didn't have enough time to polish it the way that they did with the first half, because it just ends up feeling not like Riddick. It's not the kind of things that I loved about Butcher Bay. Those really disappear in that second half.
There's a point. I mean, did it seem to you that there is a certain point where, you mentioned that they had to extend the experience. Yep. I mean, there's a pretty definitive end point that happens.
Yeah.
And then there are no credits.
Right.
And then there's more game. And I was just like, what?
It was clearly like, this is where they were going to end the game. And then they're like, oh wait, we have a few extra months. Let's do some more.
Didn't I see that character with a spike protruding from their eye? Like, why are they still coming after me now?
Having just finished Butcher Bay kind of feels like it ends a couple times first before actually ending.
Yeah, but it does it really well.
I agree. It has one of the coolest ending after the proper ending sequences that I've ever seen in a game, and then there's another one after that too. That's pretty good as well.
The difference is really just in Butcher Bay, you want it to keep going, and then it does, and that's really satisfying. Whereas in Dark Athena, if they would have ended at the part where I thought they were ending, I feel like overall I would have had I would have been left with a better impression of the game, even though it would have been shorter.
Right.
I think that ending part that you guys seem to not like so much, I actually kind of dug. And I think the only reason I dug it is because they give you a god gun that allows you to mow through the rest of the game. So even though it's really light on the stealth sequences, I felt that they at least balanced it out by giving me a gun that's fun to use.
Got a fucking corpse here.
This will be a challenge.
He has the best one-line. I mean, they're dumb one-liners, but you think to yourself, like, what is this guy gonna say at this scene? And it seems like he should say something super lame, and usually it turns out to be like kind of awesome.
It's always like teetering on the edge of self-parody, but it never quite falls over.
No, it's pretty right.
It's always,
Riddick, I know where you're at. You doing okay?
Doesn't matter. I'm either doing or I'm not.
There are battles in this. Sometimes it's maybe just a fight against one or two guys, but you know, let's say you have just your hands, or even a small weapon like a shiver or something like that. You know, you can approach a guy and attack him and basically swing and flail and eventually kill him and probably take a bunch of damage. Or with well-timed button presses, you know, do the counter moves and the stealth kills and that sort of thing, which make it feel like you're not so helpless, even though you're just one guy with no weapons wandering through these places.
You're not just one guy though, you're Riddick.
That's true.
You're the galaxy's baddest, you know.
I know, that guy is ridiculous.
Yeah.
Dark Athena is more shooter focused, and it's not as open-ended, and they don't give you as many opportunities to be stealthy as when you're going through, but they do give you the Uloks right at the beginning, which are, like, as far as hand-to-hand weapons, way easier to kill a standard enemy with than any single weapon from the first game. And then, of course, the kill animations are, I think, highly satisfying for that and all the other weapons.
And the reversals are so cool too, because every single melee weapon has its own 2 or 3 reversals and its own 2 or 3 stealth kills. So you're constantly getting a variety of experiences just by changing up the weapons and charging into situations. And my favorite one is with the Uloks when I think it's a reversal. He slices them a couple times, then he embeds it in their skull, and then he just stands there and waits for them to like fall off it.
Yeah, that's great.
They do also change up the gameplay in Dark Athena a lot with, they let you they have little sections where you take control of, like they have a mech thing and then they have sections where you take control of drones.
Yeah.
Those were fairly well done, I thought, and those felt, I guess, because you're not controlling Riddick, the shooting in those felt more natural.
Yeah.
It felt okay that it was focusing on the shooting in those sections.
Well, and also like they're just neat, you know. Like when you're controlling them, you're just running down the hall. You're I don't care if I die. You know?
So much fun. Like when you have to, you know, jam up the fan, and I was like, oh, it was so cool.
I actually enjoy the gun combat more than I would have expected to, though. I mean, sometimes you feel like, God, I've been firing at this guy with this machine gun for a really, really long time. But if you duck down and aim right at their head and pull off one shot, it usually downs them on that one shot. I really appreciate first-person games that really immerse me in the character in that first person, where I can see my arms and my legs, and the voice acting and the lip syncing and the dialogue, especially in Dark Athena. Once you get to the part where you have all the people, all the prisoners in the cells, there's some really, really outstanding voice work and face work in there.
There should be comm stations all over the ship. Try to find one. If you do, punch in D4242. Contact me. I might be able to help you remotely through this pad.
Jailer in particular. Do you guys remember
Yeah.
him?
Oh,
Face
yeah.
tattoo
Yeah,
guy?
yeah.
He's talking about him.
Dude, like it was just like ripping the controller listening to that guy. I mean, he spouts all his like, you know, predilections for necrophilia.
Yeah.
Blue with excitement. Pillage and plunder and burn, burn, burn! Rile her up a little for me. Yeah?
I don't rile people. I kill them.
Fuck you!
By the time I had the chance to kill that guy, I was just like, it was
really
like
make you
stomach
hate him.
turning, just
It
like
was,
listening to this guy go on and like.
I kept wanting to come by and just click on him what he'd say next, just
Yeah.
for, you know, kind of torture sake. Every time he'd come by and he'd be like, "Fuck you, Riddick." I'm just like,
I mean, if you come off of something like Fallout,
oh
you've got like, you know, scores of characters that all stand here and look at you like it's kind of stone faced, and then these guys, like, you know, they shift on their weight, they gesticulate. Like it's like all the, I mean, their performances, you know, it's like the animation for every dialogue scene is tweaked to, you know, help convey the dialogue and you know, get the emotion across.
I'm just glad every time I see a story delivered that way in a game, because it really makes it feel like us, you know, we've come so far, you know, from you know, it's dangerous to go alone, take this or whatever.
I got a custom-made bloody sharp shiv. Cuts through her belly like a soft-boiled egg.
This game reminded me, and especially playing through Butcher Bay again, how much I really appreciate Starbreeze's mix, where let's get the shooting and the first-person stuff like 100% right, or as close as we can get it, and then put in these like few little adventuring elements. It really breaks up the pacing.
Like there's a money system, you buy items, you like pick up missions, all the dialogue trees. I mean, it's just like a little bit of everything in there.
Yeah. So do that, play it, but I want to say, like, obviously in Escape from Butcher Bay, you escape from Butcher Bay if you finish the game. I don't think that's a spoiler. Yeah. After coming through what is whatever Space Alcatraz, going through all parts of it, sewers, everywhere you can possibly imagine, and like finally emerging and seeing like a red sky with like a transport ship. You know, I felt like I had actually escaped from that place. Just highly immersive experience. Really, really well done. And I'm glad that people are going to get a second chance to play it again for the first time.
Absolutely. Yeah. And also it just has to be said that Butcher Bay and Dark Athena together in one package it's like the best value that I've seen in a really long time. It is so worth your money.
Even notwithstanding the kind of irrelevant multiplayer,
right?
I had no interest really. I mean,
no, me either.
But it doesn't even matter that it's in there. You know, it's like first time I ever saw this happen was Metroid Prime 2, where it's like it's a shooter. You know, like for some reason, because the game is in first person, there's this expectation it has to have multiplayer. I don't know where that comes from, but it doesn't detract from the game because it's in there. You know,
especially if you haven't played Butcher Bay before.
Butcher Bay in high definition is a beautiful treat.
Oh, it's amazing.
It's really wonderful.
I'm too full of tamale to work.
Shit. I'm about to burst.
Seriously.
Yeah, it feels good. Man. I fucking told you that the mother mission would provide to us all of these delicious decadent
and on
treats.
The cheats.
Yeah.
150
for nothing.
150. I cannot believe that.
Per taco. To be honest, we haven't even fucking scratched the surface. Mother Mission has much more to provide.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh,
lesson number 2 is coming up.
I don't know if I'm ready.
Let's go tomorrow. Let's go now.
Dude, I'm ready for a nap after all that.
Nah, no naps. We gotta work.
Dude, my belt is about to burst.
Well,
sorry.
It's a lot better than what Rob's eating right now.
Let's fucking see.